What are your plans for the next 5 years in terms of money or relationship or marriage? Do you have any tips on how to deal with low self-esteem? How to overcome the feeling of failure and lost opportunities? That's a tough one. Namaste everyone, this is Avanti Nagral and welcome back to a YouTube channel that I occasionally forget exists. Sorry about that. I know I promised that we would do Q&A videos once a week and I have not kept that promise, but now I'm going to try to, so please hold me accountable. And without further ado, I'm gonna get to this week's Q&A. How old are you right now? I am officially past my quarter life crisis, so I am now 26 years old. I know, can't believe it every day. What do you eat in a day? I eat a lot of ghar ka khana, like homemade food, when I am at home. When I'm not at home, I try my best if I have access to a kitchen because I travel a lot for work. I eat a lot of vegetables. I know that sounds boring, but I love vegetables. My favorite comfort food is clear vegetable soup. Cuisine-wise, I love Indian food. The only thing is I can't eat spicy, like tikha, mirchi. So I avoid eating it outside. Kya aapke toothpaste mein namak hai? I don't know. I'll have to go check. But namak is good for your teeth, not necessarily to swallow it. What are your plans for the next 5 years in terms of money or relationship or marriage? Let's answer all of them. In terms of money, I think we're fortunately at a place where we're growing sustainably. We're able to pay everybody equitably who's on our team. Everything is stable and growing. In an ideal world, within the next 5 years, would love to get to a place where I have enough passive income streams. You have the ability to give a significant portion of your money to philanthropy or charity and be able to invest in projects or create funds and scholarships for folks who are doing incredible work. Currently, the money being made is all being reinvested back into the business, which is awesome that we're able to do that. But I want to get to a place where there is enough surplus that we can start thinking about how to give back more meaningfully and hopefully save up as well for other goals I might have in life. What are my plans for a relationship? Honestly, I don't know. We shall see. I've been in the dating world for the last, few months, year or so, and learned a lot about relationship. But to build a relationship that's meaningful takes work, takes intention, takes effort, and it has to be a two-way street. You can be willing to put in the work, but if you are with somebody who is not, no matter how wonderful they might be, you won't be able to build a meaningful relationship. Marriage. See, like I said, I'm 26, so for some people, they start to feel pressure. Oh my God, I must get married. Fortunately, I don't have any pressure from my family, nor myself. Marriage has never been a goal for me. It's never been like, oh, mujhe abhi shaadi karni hai. I'm not seeking out marriage. Meaning, in 5 years, for example, let's say I'm not married, I don't think I will be of the mindset of, oh my God, I'm 30, I'm not married, I must find somebody to get married to. I would rather seek out companionship and a partner, and if that partnership is strong enough, that might lead to marriage, as opposed to marriage being the state that I'm seeking out, if that makes sense. Tips on how to make friends. And someone else has asked, how do you chat with a stranger? One of the things is, how do you make friends? The more people you meet, the more you'll find people that you might have stronger connections with or not. So a lot of it's putting yourself out there in different ways. When we are younger, we have school and college and perhaps your workplace. Different workplaces are different, where you'll inevitably bump into people. But the older you get, the smaller that exposure becomes. That's natural with peers in your surroundings. So a lot of it is, how do you put yourself in circumstances, whether that means going to events or maybe joining a club. The easiest way is to ask questions. Asking questions about someone, what they care about, what their life is like. It doesn't have to feel like an interrogation, but just if you were to say at some place, ask them their thoughts about something there to ease into it, and then, ask them about themselves and their life. And it doesn't have to be, what's your job, etc., because for some people that's not always, the most fun question, but just genuinely getting to know somebody and being a good listener. There's a lot of people who will ask questions, but then they'll tune out, and it's very noticeable that they're doing that just out of formality. But just take a genuine interest in what people care about, and they'll take a genuine interest in you too. How to overcome the feeling of failure and lost opportunities. That's a tough one. The world and industry that I'm in, we face more rejection and failure on a daily basis than we do anything else. And it's just a part and parcel of the world that you've chosen to be in, especially when you're in a creative or non-traditional profession. So many projects happen, so many opportunities, and you're constantly getting rejected. I think you just have to develop resilience in realizing that failure is just a part of the process. It doesn't mean it's the answer to everything. And if one thing doesn't work out, there's always opportunities for more. I know it's easier said than done, but it's something I've had to develop over the years because I used to get really hung up on projects, and last minute they didn't work out and it felt a lot like failure. I just realized no matter what it is, even if it's academically or otherwise, there's always another option. And you kind of have to be of the mindset that one door closes, another opens, or you will create another door. If something doesn't work out, you have to trust in yourself, the belief that you are the one who is guiding this path. Those are all externalities that you can't control. What you can control is your intention, efforts, and kind of how you deal with situations. It's not easy, but I found that instead of deeming something as failure, reframe your metric of success, and that might really help. Would you prefer speaking Marathi or Kannada as your mother tongue? For those who know, my grandparents are from 4 different states. My dad's side, grandfather's from Karnataka, grandmother's from Maharashtra, that's Aji, who you may have seen in some videos. Mom's side, my Ammi was from Jammu and my Nanu is from Punjab. So the common language among all of them, and therefore among my parents, was Hindi. So Hindi is the mother tongue that I grew up with alongside English. Unfortunately, at home, we speak 95% in English and maybe 5% in Hindi, so it hasn't necessarily been a huge part of my life, but my parents made sure even in my early childhood when I grew up in the US that we were raised bilingual. I think when I came to India though, and especially as a preteen teenager, when I took Hindi in school, that's where my ucharan improved a lot and my understanding of the language. And then for many years, I sounded like a Doordarshan presenter. Namaskar, yahan ka vatavaran bahut hi sundar hai, whatever. I used to say words like that. Now I've learned to be more chill with my Hindi. Subcultural languages, I wish I knew, but my mom, for example, doesn't know Punjabi herself. Parents didn't really pass it on. Similarly, on my dad's side, everyone knows Marathi. Even though my grandfather grew up in Karnataka, it was northern Karnataka, and so it was on the border, and his mother knew Marathi as well, so that became a common language for them. So my dad didn't really grow up learning Kannada either. Marathi yeto म्हणजे मी समजू शकत पण बोलू नाही शकत because I have spent a lot of time and I've lived in Bombay for 12, 13, 14 years at this point, or been based here rather. Because of the surroundings, because of Aji, I know Marathi, but again, even all my grandparents, it would be different if they just spoke their mother tongues, but because they were all doctors, they all spoke English and Hindi and whatever their other language was. So yeah, it's just been khichdi all around. I would love to improve my Marathi for sure, and I would love to learn other languages. There's so much richness and culture and diversity in Indian languages. In fact, we might be starting a regional channel with some regional content, particularly some of our educational content, because I think it's really important for there to be accessibility in different spaces. So stay tuned, and we might have some job opportunities in that realm. So if you're somebody who speaks more than one language or feels comfortable being able to translate or transliterate between English and any regional language in India, maybe just let me know in the comments and we'll give you more details soon. But while it may not be possible for me to learn multiple languages as much as I would love to, one of my missions is to learn a song in every single Indian language. So if you have a favorite song in a subcultural regional language, let me know in the comments below and I will try to learn it. Do you live in India currently, or are you still in the US? I live in India. I'm based out of Mumbai, but I spend about 4 to 5 months a year outside of India, usually based in the US. That is where I grew up as well. So it's always felt like a second home, but work opportunities require us to sometimes be in other places. For example, in the last, 3 months, I have been in 5 different countries and 10 different cities or something like that. I was in London because we're singing on a film project that's coming out next year. I was in the US for a bunch of shows and some partnerships that we're working on, and was working on some music in the studio. I was in Rwanda, which is in Africa, for the world's biggest gender equity conference. Even in India, I've been back for a month and a half, and I have been in in Mumbai, but I've also been in Delhi and Bangalore and Pune. And yeah, work requires us to travel for different projects, and whether it's speaking events or shows or partnerships or projects. Why does our syllabus feel like an ocean? This is a question of every student. I know. When I was in school, it also felt like the syllabus would never end. I think it's just because, you know, they're trying to pack a lot of information into a small piece. I had somebody tell me once, a mentor of mine he went to MIT, he's huge in the music industry now too, and he told me that when it comes to school, college especially, technically you don't need higher education or formal learning because life will teach you these things, but what it does is it packages a lot of information into a small amount and of time and space and allows you to learn meaningfully. I mean, I think education overall is extremely important. You know, our basics of obviously literacy and math and just understanding the world, but I feel like we need to make sure our syllabus also includes things like personal finance, domestic work, first aid, mental health, sex ed, emotional intelligence, and just so much more. Do I prefer beaches or mountains? I prefer beaches. I haven't spent too much time in mountains, to be honest, so I think it's just mere exposure effect, but I definitely prefer beaches. When will you try a short haircut? I have at some point. I think when I was 19 or 20, I cut my hair off. It was nice, but I just don't think it really suited me. In fact, I just got a haircut recently. I don't know if you can tell, but my hair used to be much longer till my bum, and now it's till my back. Growing up, I used to grow out my hair and chop it off really frequently. Basically, one of my closest friends growing up, her mom had cancer. She had gorgeous, gorgeous hair, and I remember how much it affected her when she lost a lot of it during chemotherapy. So, as someone whose hair grows pretty fast, it was just a natural, easy thing, and as a 5-year-old, that's the only way I knew I could contribute. So from the age of 5 onwards, pretty much every other year, I would grow out my hair fully and then chop it off and donate to different organizations. I can share links to organizations if you're interested. There's many, US, India, etc. Do you have any tips on how to deal with low self-esteem? A lot of self-esteem and self-doubt issues come from our sense of self and our sense of locus of control. What do I mean by that? There's 2 general locuses of control. There's external and internal. External is factors we cannot control. The weather today, how somebody else will react to us, whether something works out or not. Internal is what we can control, which is the work we put in, our intentions, things that are in our control. And sometimes we mix up what is and isn't, and we tend to... I used to be very external locus focused, and so a lot of things used to really affect me and create a lot of self-esteem. The other thing that does not help is comparison. I mean, the internet can be a beautiful place. It allows us to build community, but it can also be really shitty when it comes to comparison and jealousy and doubt and all of these other things. So when you find yourself getting in a space or a headspace where you start to feel jealous or insecure, remove yourself from that, because sometimes it's more powerful to assess, hey, why am I feeling this way? Is it because I appreciate something someone is doing? I'm jealous that they're achieving it. Can you reframe that as, hey, let me be inspired, and what are some of the things that they're doing that maybe I can learn from? Sometimes it does feel like, hey, why did this person get this opportunity? I've worked just as hard, if not more. And that's sometimes a lot of external things that are not in our control. It has to be about your journey. You can look at me and say, oh, maybe I should also do music and health stuff and this and that, and I'll get into Harvard, but that's not how it works. That's probably a good place to end. I'm going to let you guess what my height is, and that's also how I'll know if you've watched till this point in the video. So comment below how tall you think I am. Thank you so much for watching. I've truly just missed doing this, and I promise this time that we will do this once a week. Yeah, keep me accountable for next week. Let me know what kinds of topics you want, please, so we can figure that out. And I'll get questions and we'll do the whole thing. Thank you so much for supporting. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz. If you enjoyed this, then let us know what else you want to see. I want to be able to, I know we've had a lot of diversity of topics in the past in different ways. I want to be able to continue that, and I feel like this kind of a format will be a good, fun way to still touch upon all the other topics we've done in the past. And if you want me to bring on any specific people, just whatever you want to see, let me know. I'll take it into consideration, whatever topics you want. Thank you all for all of your support and love as always, and see you soon. See you next week. Lights, camera.
But some days I just wanna hide.